Yo, what's up, YouTube? It's Mike Crypto here with another video. Um, I'm sure everybody's seen the markets today. They've seen where everything's at. The crypto markets right now, they're bleeding. Like, today is not a good day for the cryptocurrency markets. Take a quick look, do some searches, you'll see it's nothing but a sea of red. So, is this the beginning of a cryptocurrency downfall? I don't know, but I looked up, did some research, got a lot of straight facts for you guys. I'll break everything down, I'll explain everything. Alright. Alright, so South Korea. So my last video I talked about South Korea and everything they want to do. So basically, a lot of the research points, they point back to this one event, what South Korea was talking about. So South Korea is basically calling for stricter regulations on cryptocurrencies, and right there, that's striking a lot of fear and a lot of South Korean people, a lot of people in Asia, and a lot of these new investors in the cryptocurrency markets, when they have that fear that's going to strike a sell-off, and when you have a mass sell-off, that's when the prices are going to drop even more. So that's a whole thing too. China also has joined South Korea in calling for stricter regulations, which is strange too, because now we're really getting like that domino effect. Like, we have South Korea that's coming out, China's going to come out. China's wealth of investors, huge economy right there. A lot of disposable income in there, especially like in the upper class of China. So you got a lot of people right there, a lot of money right there. Striking that fear. You're not going to have that amount to invest. So what is the outcome there? You got fear. You're going to have sell-off. The two huge economies right there that really putting a lot of fear into people. And then you have the SEC. They recently just came out and posted a notice to warn all investors to basically beware, like, don't get scammed by the crypto market, and a bunch of warnings, and how it's not safe and everything like that because it's not regulated. There's basically when you trade regular stocks and different companies, that follow guidelines that are provided and different laws by the Security Exchange Commission, that this cryptocurrency is basically they really don't have to. I mean, it's not really followed by that. It's deregulated, for a reason. That's why people like it. So yeah, so we're just really seeing a lot of fear put into the market right now. So it's just wondering, like, why are we getting all this fear put in now? I think it's much more than what it used to be. I know there was always fear in any type of investing, but way back when, Bitcoin and Litecoin and all these other ones, they first came out, there was a little fear. There was talk about it because there was like a lot of questions. But now you're really getting a lot of countries and different banks and different agencies that are really hammering this down on people. So I'm just always wondering, like, why, like, what's the outcome of this? They always want more regulations on it, which is interesting because some of these alternative coins are becoming regulated. So we'll see what happens down the line on that. But what it leads up to is basically, is this the beginning of a bursting bubble? Now, they got the dot-com crash, that bubble, the internet bubble, the housing bubble, certain investments and, whatever, it only gets so big before it pops. You can't go, something can't just grow, 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 and grow, and then, never pop, never end. Otherwise people would just be consistently just making money nonstop, right? It doesn't work that way. I mean, in a perfect world, yeah, I guess it could be, but I haven't seen it yet. I mean, after every bubble pops, there are a few, large companies or agencies or whatever. Obviously, they're still going to be around. I mean, take the internet bubble. There's companies that are still around, the dot-com bubble, whatever. There's .com, they're still around. Companies are still around. Like, not everything's just going to wipe up and fail and get out of here. Now, I'm not saying Bitcoin is going to last here forever. I'm not saying Litecoin or XRP or whatever, all the other millions of ones that are coming out now, like all kind of altcoins that are coming out right now. I'm not saying they're going to be here today, tomorrow. They can be gone in 2 days. I don't know, but only some of these are going to last, and some of them aren't. It's just plain and simple right there. So here we go. So connecting the dots. So basically, this is what it's come down to, is connecting the dots, right? So I'll do a little example. So you have tulips. I have tulips written down there. So there was a tulip mania in like the 1600s, right? So people were growing these tulips, and the tulips caught some weird disease where like they had this crazy colors on them, right? Everybody wanted them, so people were like buying them, like people, wealthy people and everybody, they were just buying them up. So the price of these tulips that had this certain color defect, the the prices rose like crazy, kind of like Bitcoin. Like it was like overnight. It was like, here's a tulip for like whatever, a rock, whatever they used in 1600s, land, whatever it was. Now it's like, here's your tulip that costs one rock. Now here's the tulip that's gonna you're gonna pay for my whole land. Give me your estate right there. Like I want your house for this one tulip. If you think about it, that's basically what how Bitcoin was, and that's how it happened. It kept that price really rose dramatically. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I mean, it's definitely good, especially if you invested, in the beginning, and you held on for dear life, and it worked out for you guys. It's awesome. But yeah, so I'm just saying, like the tulip, it was a bubble. It got really big, and the people who got into it too late and invested too like high on it, when the prices dropped and no one cared anymore, because it was just like done with it. And the colors, they were buying the seeds, and then that disease was gone, and it was just normal tulips. And guess what? A lot of people lost a lot of stuff. So that's one thing. This is a good example to use, and you can really put that towards exactly how what like Bitcoin was and how it happened. Just connect the dots. Read about the tulip story, the tulip mania story in like the 1600s, and compare the timeline of Bitcoin. It pretty much coincides together, like how quickly it rose. Now, once again, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a good thing. All right, so right here, so David Schwartz. It takes me back to what he said. That whole thing with like South Korea and everything. My past video, I talked about it. David Schwartz, he's the chief cryptographer for XRP. But he tweeted, he said, look closely at the data and don't be misled. So I was like, okay, so, I really thought about this tweet. I've really been thinking about it. Because I'm like, hey, like, obviously this guy, he's not going to want, XRP to fail. He's not going to want that to happen. They're really trying to push that. And what really makes me think about it is because you see a lot of these countries and agencies that want a cryptocurrency or a digital currency that is regulated. Okay, so I'm thinking about XRP regulated. Yeah, there's other ones that are also, you know, exactly the same as XRP or have the same concept, but I don't research so much about those. They're not in the headlines like XRP. They're not having these deals with these other banks and like legit companies that are actually picking up on it. So thinking back to David Schwartz, he said, look closely at the data and don't be misled. So I'm trying to connect the dots here, right? So out of everything throughout this video and my past video, if you really think about it, it's like, hey man, like, is there going to be a new Bitcoin? Is the bubble really going to happen? It's just something to think about, because you have like Bank of America and Merrill Lynch, obviously like same company pretty much, and you have like JP Morgan. They banned investors and they banned training on Bitcoin. They banned it. So it's like, well, hey, like, XRP is getting these deals with the banks. Yeah, it's not, XRP isn't exactly the same as Bitcoin, but XRP is regulated by the banks, and it's kind of what they want. So after the bubble burst, I'm not saying XRP will be the Bitcoin, but if Bitcoin did not make the bubble and it went away, and it dispersed and it's gone, some other coin is gonna step up and it's gonna be the new Bitcoin. So this is something to think about. It's just like connect the dots. Like, I don't know. I think there's definitely some more things we need to follow on David Schwartz. I think more information. He's going to tweet out some things, or he's going to say certain things in an interview that basically, if you connect what he says, I think you can find some good information about, what is up and coming and what's going to be happening. All right, so another thing with connecting all the dots, right? A lot of these agencies, they're saying they want they want the current crypto market, right? They want many of them call for regulated crypto. So is that the data to follow too as well? So think about that. So what other of these alternative coins that also follow XRP, are these going to be like the top three? It's something just to think about too. All right, so another thing to point out there is pretty much like you have a lot of these big banks too. They're putting their, obviously we're in a new year, we're in 2018 now, so a lot of these big banks, they're going to come out with their, the yearly bonuses, of how good they did of last year. So those are going to be coming out. So what I think is going to happen too is I think we're going to have a slight rise in some cryptocurrencies because you're going to have a lot of income reach a lot of people because a lot of these banks and these big agencies, they have a lot of people they employ and they're going to be giving out bonuses. So you have like a good amount of disposable income that's going to be like hitting in the market. So I'm not saying everybody's going to choose to invest in cryptocurrency, but I think some of the younger people, even some of the older people, I don't know, but I still think there'll be a rise pretty soon. And there's been some major buying. You saw in the markets there's a lot of sell-offs. So, but you also have with the sell-offs, a lot of people are saying buy the dip, buy the dip. So, I think soon, a week or two or a couple weeks, I think you're going to see a lot of people buying a lot of these cryptocurrencies that basically they might be getting at a discount. So that's just something to keep in mind too. So yeah, I really do think that would happen. So if you want to do a quick little, you know, buy the dip now and then follow these mass buying and the price will drive up, you can easily make a quick buck if you, follow it, buy it low, just really study the chart and see these people buying, listen to whatever Fox News, MSNBC, whatever, stock market channel, and you start seeing these bonuses being listed out, really follow the currency that you chose to invest in, and you're seeing these large buys coming in and the price rise, follow it, and when it goes up, if you sell, you'll make a quick buck. I mean, it's just pretty easy. That's just a little tip for you guys. But yeah, man, that's all I got right now. I'll keep doing more research. I'll get back to you guys. Like it, comment, share it, subscribe. You know, uh, yeah, man. I'll keep doing more research. I'll get the information out for you guys. All right, later.